So I finally read the Ruination book and it's been amazing. I've been sort of recording myself as I was reading it a couple of months back. This video is a bit delayed, to be honest. And I was discussing the plot. So first of all, let me just jump into these parts that I have already recorded discussing the plot. I will mark these as spoilers in case you haven't read the book, then you can just jump ahead to the conclusion of this video. But if you have read it, then go ahead, because there will be plot spoilers there. I'll be discussing the plot of the book. The main plot of the book is obviously events leading to ruination. So we have Viego there, we have Isolde, we have Kalista, we have Hecarim, we have Ledros, Rise, we have the origins of Thresh. All of that has been amazing. So I highly recommend the book. Major shout out to Ingo who gifted it to me. Also major shout out to my patrons and Robert who supported me through PayPal. Thanks so much for that. Jumping straight into the plot of the book and then to conclusions. So here's the book. I'm loving it so far. Did not expect as much drama and as many interesting inter-characters relations, but it's all there. Apart from the obvious ones, so Viego going insane because Isolde got sick and she's possibly dying where I am right now. We have Kalista who's shining. She's such an amazing and interesting character. She used to be married to Hecarim, but I think she has a thing for her general. At the time, she's on a ship traveling with this captain whose name was Phoenix, and Phoenix, she seems to be gay or something. I think she was hitting on Kalista. So yeah, there's just so much drama going on there, but apart from that, it's just very interesting, and I don't know where it's heading, but I think we are getting closer to the Shadow Isles, which at the time are Blessed Isles, and we have that one person who aimed to be more than he is. His name was Grail, and he wanted to become more. He was studying basically, but they made him an archivist or something. So he's in the basement walking around. He killed one of his masters when his master realized that he's been taking out some volumes out of the archives, which is forbidden. So he's a murderer. He's sort of twisted. I think Kalista is actually heading there, so not sure what's going to happen, but I have to say I am sort of shipping Kalista and Phoenix despite the fact that Kalista is into her general. So I'm actually reading Ruination in bed and I had to laugh because Kalista, upon meeting Rise, and by the way, Rise showed up. That's insane. But yeah, Kalista, upon meeting Rise and that Wise dude Tyrus, she was like, "Oh, Wise Tyrus, do you happen to know the way to get to the Blessed Isles? Because I've been swimming all around this ocean and I cannot get through the mist." And Tyrus was like, "I had no idea what you mean. I'm sorry, I've never heard of that in my life." And then she told him a sobbing story of how Viego loves Isolde and like he's gonna die and do crazy stuff if she doesn't find a way to Blessed Isles. And then he was like, "Oh, you know what? Upon second thought, I do actually happen to have this stone. It will get us right there." And also I've been laughing because while Viego's probably not sleeping for a month straight now, Kalista has been basically chilling and in Blessed Isles because Tyrus organized an entire spa for her so far. So she's been eating, she took a bath and whatever. Loving this. All the drama. Been progressing with the book. At the moment, Kalista has been chilling around Blessed Isles. She's been taking walks around the forests. Oh, she met this really nice Guardian of Light or something, and she's been getting familiar with some weapons, which has been a really cool thing to introduce. Also, Rise has been doing some insane stuff that was actually kind of scary. Grail tricked him into going through this pipe or something from the sewers to reach the water, the water that we need, the healing water, and he did, but he found some sort of demons. I'm guessing this will have something to do with the mist that will take over, and I think that thing will eventually influence Isolde. So that's where I am right now. Also, Rise grabbed that sort of a water and he gave it to Kalista because the masters refused. So now Kalista is on her merry way back. She did some spa. We have no idea what is going on with Viego, and she's on her way back to Viego to treat Isolde with the water that she got, but we know that won't really work. However, I don't know what's going to happen in between. Okay, so I wanted to say Ruination book has been insane. Kalista headed back to Camavor with that small bit of that water, the healing water. When she arrived, she was obviously like, "Is Isolde okay? Is Isolde okay?" And everyone was like, "Yeah, you'll see yourself." But then she asked if she's alive, and then you're like, "Yeah, good." Turned out Viego has been sitting with Isolde that's been dead. She's dead as a rock. And he's like, oh, look at her, she's just sleeping, poor little angel. That's so dark. I swear I did not expect that at all. Camevor a mess at the moment because Viego neglected his duties. He's not giving a shit about anything, and then the Iron Order has been using it, so it's all been a bloody mess. Next thing that happened, Viego found out about the Blessed Isles and he was like, well, we need to take her, maybe they will heal her. I don't actually understand why Kalista agreed to that. She thought that it would be best if he heard from the Masters, Blessed Isles Masters, that Isolde is actually dead. Honestly, it was a terrible idea to begin with because of everything that happened afterwards. They arrived there, and you know how they are at Blessed Isles. They don't really like visitors, that they like to be messed with. They asked the Masters to heal Isolde, but like, come on, they were with a dead body. What were they expecting? I think what should have happened, Kalista should have approached them alone and explained, well, you know, we brought a corpse here, but maybe if you could just play along. They agreed to heal her, but then they went there and they're like, ugh, she's dead. Yeah, that's been happening. That's crazy. And little rat Grail has been using the situation. It's all a really big mess at the moment. That's where I sort of stopped recording my impressions because I just finished reading the book. It's insane how much Anthony Reynolds actually fit in to that book. A lot has happened by the end of it. We saw Viego fighting off Hellions, trying to get to the Well of Life because he thought that maybe he could revive Isolde. We had Isolde coming back as this sort of a wrath, being angry at Viego, furious even because he brought her back and she didn't want that at all. In fact, the book suggested that she wasn't as in love with him as he was in love with her. We had most of all Kalista, who maybe made some unreasonable decisions, but her love for Ledros and Ledros' love for her led them both to sort of dying together, sacrificing themselves, knowing that they are defending Hylia despite having enough forces. We had the origins of Thresh, so Elok Grail, he was a Thresher who was guarding the labyrinths beneath Hylia, who's been despised his whole life, and that misery led to him being really spiteful. That led to him compromising Hylia even, entering Viego there, and that ultimately led to releasing the Black Mist, which turned eventually Blessed Isles into Shadow Isles, and the whole Ruination even started, everything that followed. It's sort of like Ruination Origins in a way. Book is written in such a pleasant way. The language is not too complicated. It's fairly pragmatic. It does involve a lot of champions and does include a lot of backstories. And while Anthony Reynolds is a great writer, I think he's from Australia. I've been reading some of his short stories on League of Legends websites, and the ones that he has written, these were my favorite ones. So it's amazing that they decided to actually give it a go, release a first novel within the League of Legends universe, introducing the events leading up to Ruination. Now, the book didn't actually go very in-depth, but I don't feel like it's a bad thing necessarily. I think it was nice that it was approachable. There's all sorts of League of Legends players out there. Some are young and they would maybe still want to read the book. So it's very good that the book is approachable in my opinion. It's amazing that he sort of grasped everything that has happened because a lot has happened in the book. And I feel like it was a difficult task to sort of fit it all together and for it to make sense, for it to nicely explain how Kalista became what she became, because she died and now she's sort of haunting Shadow Isles. She's stuck there and Ledros is also stuck there, so they're wandering there but they're not actually together, which is very tragic. We had the backstory of Jendekaya who's trying to fight it off, fight the Ruination, the Black Mist. We had the Captain Phoenix who I think she was sort of gay for Kalista but it never happened because Kalista was very much into Ledros. And most of all, Viego's backstory and Thresh's backstory, so very important characters in the League of Legends universe. I do recommend it. It's a great and easy read. I think it's been received fairly positively within the fans, so that's great. And I do hope that they write more of these novels in the future. Like I said, maybe as someone who reads a lot of books, I would sort of expect for some conclusions to go more in depth. For example, I would love to see Ryze confronting Tyrus when it comes to his own role and how he sort of helped with the whole events without wanting to, but still. That never really happened, but maybe somehow they will still sort of discuss that in the future and maybe more books will follow. And honestly, I just think it's great that such a major universe as League of Legends, that it includes such an amazing, complex lore with lots of connections. I mean, Arcane would be the best example that they were able to pull off such a story as Arcane presented based on League of Legends universe alone. So I actually decided that I will soon make a video discussing the next possible stories that could be adapted into shows, very much like Arcane. There are tons of amazing stories out there, amazing characters that are sort of left hanging in there because we don't actually get frequent update as to what is going on to these characters. And a show like Arcane, but following something else, maybe Ionia or maybe Noxus, it could really take a very deep dive. And the book was a fantastic example of how that can be done. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope that you read the book, and I'll see you guys soon with the next videos. Bye!